Uh-oh. Now don't start. What's going on? Make sure I have my... Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Hi, everyone. How's everybody doing? Come on in. Let's talk immigration. I feel I have knots on my teeth. Well, that didn't come out right. I mean peanuts. Hey, Miss Giwa, how are you? Happy Thursday, the future _ apparel. Hi, TikTok family. Hello, YouTube and Facebook people. Hello, Instagram. I'm doing good, Miss Giwa. How are you? This week was a little bit shaky because we started off the week. What's this? It's not bright. Hold on. My ring light is going off on me. Started off the week shaky. Had a notice of intent to not responded to that was denied of our case. It's denied because they had submitted a divorce decree before, and we just could not overcome that. Y'all need to listen. And must submit them. Start your case with a lawyer. Not with lawyers who don't know everything. That's just the truth. But at least a lawyer has some insight into reviewing your file and knowing if what you're about to submit is something that can cause a problem or not. But we're ending the week with 2 green cards for our clients, 2 green card approvals, no, 3 actually, and then 1 employment-based green card approval. So you win some, you lose some. That is just the way it is. I don't care who their attorney, I don't care how many brains they've got. Every attorney has cases that they lose. That is just what it is. The only thing is you just pray that you have more good news for your clients than you have bad news. It is what it is. But we just have to stay hopeful, and you just have to stay hopeful. Just have to stay hopeful. You're welcome, Life of Clarkson. You're absolutely welcome. Hi, everyone. Come on in. Let's talk immigration. I am Attorney Abisola Adebola Olale Samuel. Immigration attorney based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. I remember growing up, someone was asking me, do I have Chinese blood? No, I don't. And I'm not sure if I should take it as a compliment about my eyes but I remember growing up, my younger brother, Bankole, internet going off on Facebook. Come on. We're watching on something explaining. What the heck? Okay, hold on. Can y'all hear me real good on Facebook and YouTube? This is not even funny. Yeah, I said not. I said it before I realized, like, not like peanuts, ground nuts. That is, okay, good. Hello, Mr. Boo. How are you? Nuts. You know, y'all understand what I mean. Like, that didn't come out right the first. Like, I don't have to get your minds out of the gutter. But anyway, they used to make fun of but tease my dad and I that we have cat eyes. So my younger brother, Bankole, would make fun of, like, whatever I'm talking to him, and he would go, "Are your eyes open?" Like, because my eyes are so tiny and slanty. Are your eyes open? Like, ha 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 ha. You got jokes. But anyway, you want to marry me? Trust me. I'm too expensive. Literally and figuratively. Like, your life is probably peaceful. Don't complicate it, because I am I can make up my whole state. Just trying to be warning you. That's all. But anyway, I am an immigration attorney. I'm based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. If you've got an immigration case, with a case style that we handle, we can and do represent immigration clients, regardless of state you live in. Contact information is 334-341-4475. Visit our website at olalayelawfirm.com. You can also send a text to that number, or text us on WhatsApp. I have a lady who takes you about WhatsApp. I make calls myself, but she doesn't take calls. It's just strictly chat messages. I got a system, and I've got to keep it to my system. System helps to make things flow the way they should, so that everything is accounted for. But anyway, come on in. Let's talk immigration. Once again, it's three. Yeah, I knew someone was going to say it on TikTok like you're too fast. 334-341-4475. So y'all, hello, 𝐸𝐴𝐤𝐸𝐸𝐞. How are you? We sent out 12. Was it 12? 12 or 13 work permits this week to different clients. Y'all don't even understand what it feels like to be able to give people that life-changing news. You can work, you have a social security number, you have an identity. You can actually get, with the program, with this crazy real ID coming in 6 months. And also making people aware. There's a lady that I consulted with today that had been waiting since December 2021 for her EAD card and was wondering what's going on. No prima facie determination, nothing besides biometrics. Come to find out, she filed a C31 EAD, and you can see the burden or like the world being lifted off her shoulder, like she finally knows why she's been waiting and nothing. Because y'all, you've heard me say several times, C31 EAD, you don't get it until the VAWA case has been approved. And that's usually the first indication that your VAWA petition has been approved. So anyway, this evening, let's talk about something that a lot of us may not know is an option, but then it depends on what it is that you're trying to use it for. And that is a service request to reopen or reconsider. Let me go back here. Okay, so if you're on Facebook, and please share this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like and follow us on our Facebook page, follow us on all four, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, subscribe to YouTube. Put it 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕 Immigration, and it's the same on all platforms. Okay, service request to reopen. And y'all already know, we'll do the questions later, so I'm making it real brief. Service request to reopen. If you are, so what does that mean? What is a service request to reopen? Basically, if you have a case that has been denied by USCIS, that's when typically you file an I-290B form. That is the form you use to file a motion to reopen, motion to reconsider, or both motion to reopen and reconsider, or an appeal, depending on what you're appealing on, and if that petition or the underlying petition is one that can be appealed. So generally, that's a route. When there's an unfavorable decision, you file an I-290B asking USCIS to reopen, reconsider, and or motion to reopen and reconsider, or an appeal to the Administrative Appeals Office, which is their supervisory office with USCIS, their appeals office. That's what you usually do. You pay a filing fee of $675, and then, whether you're trying to reopen your 485, 765, you're filing an appeal of our appeal, whatever the case may be, that's usually what you have to do. You have to do it normally, you have to do it within 33 days. With the current extension, you have up to 90 days from the day they issue that decision. So basically, additional 60 days from when it's due. However, a lot of people don't know that you may, I'll get to the questions later. I have to get my glasses. You may be able to do a service request to reopen. A service request to reopen is not a motion in itself. It's not. So let's be clear about that. It is not a motion to reopen. It's not a motion to reconsider. It's an informal request to USCIS asking them to either reopen or reconsider a decision that they have made that obviously is a denial. So, example, I filed, so we converted to, I have a client where, and this comes into play when you have an example where you may be able to use this is where you have a pending, say for instance, you filed a regular marriage-based case, right? And now you're switching over to a VAWA case. You want to transfer your 485 to your VAWA petition. You tell them the law allows you to make that request in person or in writing. And once you make that request, you have 30 days to show that, to file the VAWA petition. And you must prove that you filed that VAWA petition within 30 days of the request to USCIS. If you do not file it within that time frame, the officer has the discretion to deny the 485 and you have to file a new one. If you do file it within the time frame, you're required to also notify that office that you requested for them to hold your 485. You should notify them and with supporting evidence that you have filed your VAWA petition. However, sometimes because it's USCIS, they drop the ball. So that's where a service request to reopen comes into play as compared to a formal I-290B motion to reopen or reconsider. A motion to reopen, you have to state new facts. Motion to reconsider is usually based on legal grounds. They made an error because they didn't follow what the law says. Now, in a case where you've requested for them to hold your 485, and now use the case that we just got reopened today as an example. Back in August, we filed, actually on the same day that I sent the abeyance request to the field office where my client's 485 had been. No, I back up. We had an interview, actually. Yes, we had an interview. He was scheduled for 45 interview, and we had filed the VAWA petition before the interview date. So I was on the phone. I attended the interview telephonically, told the immigration officer we have actually filed the VAWA petition. My client had a copy of the USPS postage receipt with a tracking number. And then that we told them we're going to send them a copy of the VAWA petition receipt notice once we get it. We filed that. I think we submitted that August 23rd or something. No. Let's back all the way up. This was back in June. June 28th, I think, to precise, is when his interview was. We had submitted the VAWA petition on June 23rd. He had the postage receipt with him. We requested for them to hold it, and we have to show, obviously by law, that we had filed the VAWA petition within 30 days. Unfortunately, as we all know, USCIS is ridiculously backlogged in everything. USCIS, the Department of State, and scheduling interviews, everything. J1 visa, J1 waiver division, it's taking over a year for them to adjudicate waiver applications. It is insane. So what happens? They come, USCIS, this was Atlanta field office, sent us a denial notice of his 485 exactly on August 31st is when I received it. On the same day that I received the denial notice, I received the VAWA petition receipt notice. It took Vermont Service Center 2 months to send us the receipt notice. Yes, it did. 2 solid months to send us a receipt notice. So when we got that, obviously the receipt notice had June 23rd as the received date. That's proof right there that it was nothing we could do. If we don't have a receipt notice, what else can we possibly do? So in that scenario, it's a perfect example of where you can, rather than having someone pay $675, file a motion to reopen, that you made an error, people, like y'all people all together, what the heck were you guys thinking? Rather than pay that, this was clearly something that if they had just waited, and in their decision it says a search of our electronic whatever did not indicate that you ever filed, like, okay, we didn't put this stamp on it, we didn't put this date on it. So what I told my client was 2 options. We can either forget about it, which I didn't want to do, because I when I'm right, and you ain't gonna argue with me till Jesus comes back. I would argue with a wall when I know I'm so right. When I know I'm not right, I try to avoid any argument whatsoever. But I told him, I said, I understand, because you don't want a case where now, because your 45 hasn't denied, that means your EAD is automatically terminated. So you don't want a case where they're sending you to notice to appear in immigration court, whatever the case, maybe your employer is saying, oh, you don't have any status right now or any basis to keep working. We can file a new one, which is what he wanted to do, and we actually did. But at the same time, I said, these people are going to feel like they were right. We've got to make them understand that they were so wrong, and so wrong they have to look themselves in the mirror that they were so wrong. So rather than file a motion to reopen on a 290B, we did a service request to reopen to Atlanta field office, stating, I use the same format, like this is the as if I'm filing a motion to reopen, meaning new facts. Because as of the day they made that decision, they said we hadn't filed anything. So obviously, I tagged the posted receipt once more with the name of the person that signed for it, which they had on the day of the interview, but somehow they didn't believe us. And also a copy of the I-360 receipt notice to show like, in your face kind of thing. And so we are demanding, because this is your error, we are demanding that you must reopen this 485 because it was erroneously adjudicated and denied. So we sent that out. I want to first week in September. So days after we got that. So we're in November. So it took them 2 months to decide to accept that they were wrong. And then today we got the notification. I haven't received the notice, but I got the email alert that we have decided to reopen your I-485. Meanwhile, just to be on the safe side, my client decided, listen, I just want to be sure. So we already have yet another 485 so that he can actually at least have his a new E80. But because they've now reopened the denied 485, which they erroneously denied, that also will reopen his I-765, which he already had. He already had his work permit, but it would no longer be revoked or terminated. So that is a perfect example of when an informal service request to reopen, it will be a better option when you are very sure. Nothing is certain with immigration, but when you know that you've got your facts together and there's just no how they're going to argue with you on this, they were wrong times 10. Then it's, it saves you money. It may save you, because motion to reopen I-290B can take forever. This took 2 months. When they realized, okay, that was our error, they on their own, 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕 on their own will reopen that application, petition, whatever the case may be, and reinstate the status back. So that would be an example of when you can use a service where you can actually make an informal service request to reopen to USCIS rather than having to pay the fee. Now, keep in mind, disclaimer, because a motion to reopen, motion to reconsider, appeal, it's time sensitive. If you're not sure that that your argument will stand, if you're not sure that they would even consider it, or you have any hints of a possibility that they may deny it and just toss your request on the side, it's best to also file an I-290B formally within the time frame, so that if for whatever reason your informal request to USCIS service and whatever case may be is not granted, you're not out of time to file the I-290B within the time frame. So in my case, lawyer no tabati everything is no, that's not what I'm saying. That's not it. But so that's where that's an example of when a service request to reopen will be better. So basically, it is an option for you if you're certain that there's a possibility that you're right, they're wrong, and they will probably open that. You can save yourself the money, you can save yourself the time, because it's going directly to that office that made the decision. It's not a motion in itself. It's basically like an informal request, an informal motion to reopen, but it's not a motion, it's a letter. It's, they can decide to, but because I knew that, okay, people all together, like y'all just have made me real mad. Because I remember I put it in there, like, how is it my client's fault that Vermont Service Center decided to take 60 days to issue a simple receipt notice. And y'all already had a postage receipt that they were signed for by 𝐿𝐥𝐚𝐥𝐿𝐫𝐞𝐲𝐞𝐥𝐵 Vermont Service Center. You already had it. You think, and you said you and your, this is what got me. They said you and your legal representative stated or indicated, no, that's it. That's it. You've started the war. So today, now they've reopened. Now, so basically, my client has 2 pending I-485s. Obviously, we have to withdraw one of it. The question is which one. But that's all she wrote. So basically, that's an option you have, just so you know. Alrighty, let's get to questions. Okay, y'all need to leave this nuts thing alone. Listen. Okay, yeah, familiar. I was talking to somebody today. If y'all really know me in my personal life, and when Sissy lawyer, and we living, because I won't say I'm wild. I'm not just the typical. I'm not conservative. I'm not wild out there. Like, anyway, let's just leave that alone. But yeah, so just leave the nuts alone. That came out wrong. Let's see. Yeah. Good evening. Okay, y'all on Facebook don't have a lot of questions yet, just comments. All right, let me go to let me start with TikTok. I'll come back to you, YouTube and Facebook later once you guys stop making fun of nuts and all that. Hold on 1 second. Y'all, let me see. Okay. Oh, thank God for eyes. Okay. Alrighty. I said nuts, yeah. Leave it alone. Okay, let's see. Good evening. Your son has the same eyes like I do. Listen, trust me. I've heard it all. Cat eyes, no eyes. It's like whatever. And none of my boys. I have 2 boys, 17 and 12. They have their dad's eyes big, like wide open like that. None of my boys really look like. Well, one of them kinda, but yes, you can warn. Paul, Nelly, you take the risk. I'm trying to save you from me. I'm trying to save you a whole lot of trouble. A whole lot. Like, if only you know. How long does it take? How long does it take to get your work permit after getting biometric? I've said this every time. Biometrics doesn't really have anything to do with how long you get your work permit. And I look at it this way. There are some work permits that my clients have that doesn't have the fingerprint on it. Fingerprint is missing. And that's because they got the E80s before they were told to go do biometrics. So it doesn't really, sometimes it just is coincidental that you get a biometric and then you get E80, but yeah. And to know specifically what you're doing the biometrics for, when you get your biometrics notice, for instance, yeah, I have things everywhere. Let me see if I can, let me cover this up. Obey. Yeah, let's do it all the way up here. Okay. So this is an example of, but still, this is a biometrics notice, right? Let me just make sure my client's information. All right. So we got this October 28th. Let's see appointment type. You can actually see that all it says is I-485 and I-360. This client already has their E80. So the 765 was not even part of the forms or the applications they were going to do E80 for, which to do the biometrics for, which is coming up on November 15th. So That's why I always say it doesn't. That really doesn't have anything to do with that. So, okay. Scrolling past and stuff because of your hair. It's gorgeous. Thank you. I think it's about time to wash this darn hair. No carry load way past you. All that glitters isn't gold. Don't be fooled by the smiles. Thank you, Paul Nelly. Okay, let's see. I love it. Lord Castani says it's okay by the time your neck shrink from the weight back out. You're just something. Do you have a consultation fee? Yes. This is my free consultation that I do and get questions answered, but anything specific to your case. 3 options. If you go to our website, olalayalawfirm.com, 130, 200, 230. And what I do is if you take my services within 15 days, you get that credit towards the attorney fees. So people just yeah, you gotta have those trolls. Yep. I have zero tolerance for negativity on here. You don't even talk about immigrants when you come to my page. You're gonna do it. Nope. Okay. Let me check this out. Okay, there we go. Alrighty. You have a great day to Shirley Journey. I empathize with you. Acres and Oceans, my husband passed after we filed. Is the application not void? So generally, if the petitioner passes away, while an I-130, I'm assuming is what he filed, is pending, the law is that the I-130 would automatically convert to a widower's petition, I-360. And sometimes some I've lost everyone on YouTube and Facebook briefly there. Why is this going on? I'm gonna mark my Xfinity because Xfinity is not cheap. Like you already know. Anyway. It automatically becomes a widower's petition. It's the same form they use on a VA case, which is I-360. It doesn't mean the person was an abuser. It's just the same form. That's what it says. It automatically, but you have to obviously notify USCIS that your spouse has passed, and then you're asking that. I just do that. I formally request for them to convert it to a widower's petition based on a copy of the death certificate and all that. If you're at the point where you've already withdrawn the petition or whatever the case may be, you still have up to 2 years from the time the person passed to file a widower's petition, as long as you have not remarried and you still have all the good faith evidence that you would normally use if they were still alive. Oh, die. Okay. For Nelly, gotta pray for strength. How long does it take to get a work permit after a petition has been approved and filed? What petition has been approved? It's been more than 52 days since my N400 interview, nothing yet from them. So I posted a video up yesterday. I don't think I put it on TikTok. I probably will do that later. But specifically on this, so USCIS has up to 120 days after you've had, if they do not make a decision on your naturalization application on the same day, they have up to 120 days from the day you had your interview to make a decision. If they do not, you have a right to send a demand letter requiring them to make a decision and quoting the part of the section of the INA Act, or get your congressperson involved. But that is what the law says. Within the 120 days, however, they also have a right to decide to send you an RFE or notice of intent to deny, as long as it's still within that time frame. So if you're 52 days, then you've got, I don't know, whatever the difference of 120 and 52 is. I went to law school, so I don't have to do math. So never married, verbal agreement on custody. Her secret cares, approved I-130 for son, but father now again. Oh, I don't know what's going on. How long is the I-130 process taking? Forever? But we're seeing anywhere from 7 months to a year. It's 7 months to 14 months, really, depending on the service center they send your I-130 to. Can you get and do advanced parole via pending I-485 with expired visa? The visa expired. I'm not sure what you mean by expired visa, but if you have a pending I-485, generally you're able to file an advanced parole application based on that. Kaylin, I love your hair. People are always asking me my hair. It's braided at the back. I always am going to take a photo, but it's just you married it down. I learned how to braid hair when I was in FDGCR, correct? Like you can't go to boarding school and don't know how to make hair. You've got to learn. If you have hair on your head, because I had a partner, she would make my hair and my coat and all that kind of good stuff. And I'm telling you, boarding school would prepare you for life. Okay, all right, let's see. Okay. All right. Oh, my nails. I got, it's polka dot nails, but I got black in here and white. Listen, I come up with different stuff. My job is too serious. I find ways to just not be, sane. How do you file for birth abroad? If forms you have to fill, then you have to, if you're going there, then you can do yourself. If you're not going to be there, then the other parent has to be there and submit it to the consulate or embassy so you can get your FS240 form. That's the certificate of report of birth abroad. Juana Baba 1, what's your question? Okay. Let's see. Try to change address in my file, but they keep returning the form to send me letters to old. Maybe it's time for you to get an attorney. How long does I-489 take? That's asylum. Oh, by the way, now you can file asylum online. I have quite a number of asylum cases that we're about to send out. And I told my legal assistant, like, okay, Carla, just hold on. Sorry, it's going to be double for you. Do you trouble, but looks like we're going to have to file this online. Hopefully that means we get the receipt notices immediately. That would be awesome. Rather than waiting, I have a case that I'm still waiting to file in August. We're still waiting for the receipt notice. And that's why I always send anything I send to USCIS, I send with trackable mail because you ain't going to deny that you got it. So you can now file 589 online. As far as how long before you get your interview, the last and first out is still ongoing, but I'm not sure they're still following that because that was the last administration that started that. How long does it take to get work permit for a pending asylum case? I fill the form. What I'm seeing in my firm, and I can only go by that, is for renewals. Just to put this in perspective, I just got, for those renewals that I filed for my clients, we filed this end of March, beginning of April. About 5 of those. We just got them last week and this week. So give or take 8 months, right? And then the new EADs, first EADs based in a pending asylum, the longest that we have is 3 months for the new ones. So if that helps to put things in perspective. A petition for my parents. It's been almost 2 years now, and nothing is required. It's been almost 2 years for the I-130 or for them to schedule an interview. John James Olale, the Yoruba Benin babe. This person knows me. How? Yeah, for those who don't know, my paternal grandfather was actually an Yoruba man. So technically, I can't really claim that I'm a Yoruba girl. Maybe that's why my Yoruba has 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕, because my last name should have been, my maiden name should have been Wade Odaji, because Samuel was my grandfather's first name. 100% Yoruba man. But my paternal grandmother was a Nundu woman, Akure to be precise, Yaburu. And after I never met my paternal grandfather because he passed before I was born. My dad was like 19 or 20. I only saw his photos. But when he passed, my dad moved from now Delta State, where he lived with his father, to Ondo State to live with his mother. And then he changed his last name to his father's first name. However, his other siblings, my dad was a twin, God rest his soul. So Auntie Kane still has her maiden name as Wade Odaji. So listen, it can't even keep up with my family. I can't even keep up with the family. So, but yeah, that's where the Delta side comes in. Can you get, okay, so I think I've answered all the, let me go to Instagram. Let's see. I think somebody went to 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒂𝒏𝒕. Oh, 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒂𝒏𝒕. Our school we hold you honestly, loyalty and discipline. Something. I can't remember. Something along that way, along that line. I had a good day, Sir Lex Law, Miss_Mr. How was your day? Oh, sorry, Miss Giwa. How are you doing? How are the kids? Are you feeling much better now? It's flu season, so yeah. So it's always yucky and all that. Okay. Yada, does the person need a valid Nigerian ID to marry in court? You asked me the question on Tuesday. It's still the same response. You have to find out what the state you're getting married in, what that state requires you to have. Was it before the work authorization and they detected the divorce stuff, or when they? So in this case, and I always tell people, listen, if you've already submitted, whenever you get an RFE or notice of intent to deny, and there's the couple cases where my client knew upfront that I've got an issue with this divorce decree, and I'll put it in writing for you. But some people are like, you know what? I'm not really bothered about what happens in 2 years. I just want to get a work permit and be able to work. You sign contract, and you already know. But if you have someone who's going to help you, and then you come to a lawyer to help you respond to a request for evidence or notice of intent to deny, there's only so much argument that can be made. Listen, I am the one who hopes against hope, because I know that there's nothing impossible. No one is not trying to say God should erase an error that you may have done, whether intentionally or otherwise. But because I have seen it happen in my practice, I've seen cases approved for my clients that I know and I knew, God even knows, that those divorce decrees are like, kind of thing. Like, listen, if they send a denial and say, no, you want to pull a fast one, we wouldn't even argue. But then when they got approved, then they became citizens. So I would keep hoping against hope until Jesus comes back, that it may not look like it will be, but just do it. Because what else are you going to do? You're not going to respond to a notice of intent. You're not going to respond to a request for evidence. You're going to have to respond. But you can only make so much argument. And if you've already put in something, it's hard to not argue against what you put in without contradicting yourself and making yourself look like you submit a fraudulent document. Because that's always my goal. That even if you have to start all over again, remarry, whatever, I don't want them to conclude that a client submitted a fraudulent document. Because if they conclude that, you're dealing with waiver issues and all. So this was something that I didn't start, but I helped to respond, and we made a great argument. It just did not work out. But this was way after work authorization. I mean, this was like 2 years after. Yeah. MZ Bernice, do you handle EB2 cases? Yes. Okay. Rabio, what should I do after the USCIS notified me that my wife had gotten married with 3 people? What should I do? There was a video that a skit that I put up, and people thought I was joking. No, that was for real. I have a client that we currently have a VAR case pending, and we had to file that after we found out that her husband was married to 2 other people. And her interview was scheduled on the same day as one of the other women's interviews, and none of the 2 of them knew. So how can we still file for VAR if that's the case? Because even if your abuser is married to somebody else, basically they committed bigamy. As long as you were not aware, you're not a party, you weren't colliding with them, and it's not bigamy on your part, you still would have a basis to show qualifying relationship. So if they told you your wife has been married to 3 people at the same time, or before, or I don't know what the case is, but then it's time for you to sit down with an attorney and know what your options are moving forward. Hey, Miss Geraldine. If you file a VAR cancellation removal to court, you used to have to show up in court. If granted, I can't answer that question because I don't know anything about your case, and you have to follow what the immigration judge tells you to do or what your lawyer tells you to do. What about TPS? Jason_Mike. What is your question about it? How much does it cost to renew my work permit? I don't ever give fees, code fee, because I don't have set fees until I've had a conversation with you. Based on what I need to do is how I can quote you a fee. I don't have like some attorneys do, but I don't, because no 2 cases are alike. Gifted, do I still need my divorce decree for VAR as I did not submit it? I mean, for my first husband before married and abuse. Okay, good question. I can't say yes or no in your case, but this is what I would say. A lot of people, and I get that question surprisingly so often, when there's an issue with your divorce decree in a regular marriage case, right? A lot of people say, okay, you seek advice and they tell you go file for VAR. Please understand that you filing for VAR does not exempt you from showing that if you're filing for VAR based on a spousal relationship, does not exempt you from showing that you were legally free to marry the abuser. Switching from a regular marriage case does not exempt you from proving that you were legally free to marry the abuser, because a qualifying relationship is the foundation of a VAWA case. It is like you have the good moral character, you've got the physical presence, you've got the status of the abuser, you've got the abuse proof, all of that, good faith marriage, shared residency. If you do not have a qualifying relationship, it is like building a house without a foundation. The foundation of your VAR case when it comes to abuse from a spouse, everything lies on your qualifying relationship. If you do not have proof that you had legally terminated every previous marriage prior to marrying the abuser, you can prove abuse till Jesus comes back. You're not going to get your case approved until you've been able to establish a qualified. Paragraphs 1 and 2 of the very first things you have to establish: qualified relationship. If you don't have that, nothing else is going to stand in your VAR case. Absolutely nothing. So for unitate, yes, that's great vegicula. I'm so that's 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕, yeah. If Rainsville was approved last year and she still hasn't gotten the I-485, it's past the year. It depends on the field office. Go on USCIS.gov/present time, see how long it's taking them. I still submitted 2 outside number present time to VAS, the service center, today through the attorney email. So we're waiting because those cases are already up to number, for instance. So that's an advantage of having an attorney. You can use that email. Someone else had tried, well, the same person that now hired my services, they sent an email to the service center and did not get a response because it is only for accredited representatives and or attorneys. If you are the petitioner, they will not respond, or they will respond and tell you they can't give you any information because they don't know if it is you or someone else pretending to be you. But if you have an attorney, they will confirm that that attorney is the attorney on your case, G28 or some kind of identification, and they will communicate with their attorney. And that's how I get a lot of my communications done. I remember, everybody knows my favorite Miss Pam. I emailed to the point everyone says, don't email us anymore. We don't want to hear from you on this case. So my email, leave it alone. Because I almost abused the whole email system. God said, no, Timmy, we shall get this approved. Can you please answer the questions on Instagram? That's what I'm doing. We have to go one at a time. Okay. Hello, finest Shandy. How are you? I know. That's what's no. For honest, loyalty, and this, I'm all to hear remains that in unity we stand. Okay, yeah. What is your name _royalty for? Obviously, you went to FGGCR, correct? What year? I graduated in let me date myself. 1994. I think I was the youngest in the class to graduate. I was 15 when I graduated high school. I always make my kids feel really bad because I graduated, I think, a week before I turned 16. So I'm making a big deal to my boys. Like, listen, y'all don't even know what's going on in the US. Like, I graduated from high school at 15 because my oldest is 7. He's going to be 18 next month. And American-born kids, before they allow them to start kindergarten, they have to be 5. Some states have the exception, but they have to be 5 by September 1st. My oldest kid is a December baby. So by the time he turned 5, it was already end of the year. In Nigeria, as long as you're going to be that age that year, or you have this much, you're starting school. Their system is kind of, and then my youngest, my 12-year-old, he is the youngest boy in his entire grade because he is an August baby, but he was born just 2 weeks before that cutoff day. So everybody else, like, there's some kids in his class, they're already 13. He's 12. Some are going to be 14 beginning of next year. He's still 12. So it doesn't make any sense. But I always try to make them like, I graduated when I was 15. Take that to the bank. Like my 17-year-old looks like SJ. His eyebrows are gold. Like, okay, that kind of like, okay, and I love it. Bank. Yeah. Listen, my kids have told me that if they can survive being my kids, they can survive anything. Like, Kikiri, 12-year-old, they got their progress report yesterday. She had on Wednesday, yeah. And he had a 94. I was like, huh? 94. No. Okay, on soon school. I have a friend who was with me. She was like, "That's an A." Like, no. You don't understand. You don't understand. If you're not African, you can't get it. You like right? If you can't, just so stay out of it. I said, did I not tell you you can't get less than 95 in any for any reason? I'm like, I will pull you out of the soccer team. I don't play. You'll miss the next 4 consecutive practice. No, we Kini 94. I know and do 6 points. So she weigh 6 points, Lonnie. Please, just let's leave it alone. Bumi, congratulations on your vow being approved in June. Shows approved, but there was no notice of traction on 45. Keep in mind, people, the fact that you file a 45 with your vow case does not mean it's going to be approved the same time. When you file a vow petition, the whole point of filing a 45 at that time is number one, to start accruing time for and get an earlier priority date. But most importantly, so you can get a work permit while your vow petition is pending. But Vermont Service Center is not going to adjudicate your 45. No, it's filed with them because you filed the vow at the same time, but it just sits dormant doing nothing other than giving you work permit and getting a priority date. When they approve your vow petition, they transfer your entire file to the field office or the service center having jurisdiction over your area. Then that field office or the service center will adjudicate your 485. So it's it's 2 parts to a vow petition. So you're going to still have to wait after your vow petition is approved for your 485, because that's just what it is. They're not going to forward your file to your field, and sometimes they will schedule for an interview, and sometimes they may not. If you're going to be scheduled, usually it's 50-50. If they're going to schedule for an interview, you've never heard of anyone going to Vermont Service Center for an interview on a 485. It's usually done in your field office, and that's the whole point. To forward that file to the office having jurisdiction over your case. That office decides whether or not they're going to schedule you for an interview. So basically, you're not going to see any traction on the 45 for a while. I hope that helps. Okay, let's see. Graduated in 2014. You're a baby. You're a baby. In 2014, like 8 years ago. I could be your mama, because of course I could. Let me not date myself. So if you graduated in 2014, let me do some calculation. At the very least, you were maybe 16. So you're in your 20s. I could be your mama. Yeah. See, I didn't know before you weren't born. I just said he wasn't even born in 1994. God bless your heart. But it's good to be young. Enjoy it while it lasts. I'm still young. I'm 44. Life is just starting. Can anybody agree with me that once you turn 40, you're like, as a woman, you don't really care what people say anymore? Like, you get to there's a different vibe in life where you're so focused on what your dreams are. You're not really interested in cliquish groups. You have very, very limited friends that you can count on one hand, because quality starts to matter. Like, can somebody say amen to that? You just hit 40 and like, oh, wow. Life is just starting. Things, your priorities are, you're in order. Like, things just begin to make sense. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But call me, you need to get a lawyer. You need to sit down with a lawyer. That's not a yes or no question. Reality for like, right? See, you weren't even born in 1994. Did I graduate in 1994? Yeah, I did. I can't remember. I did. It's been 28 years. Yeah. Official Kiki collections. Thank you. I appreciate that very, very much. You become unstoppable. Thank you. Right? It's just like, what? I don't care. Okay, let me go back to, I think people are on Facebook and YouTube, and I have to sign up now. I'm now starting to. Okay, let's go back. Okay. Mr. Jafar, you've sent me God knows how many emails, and my response would be still the same. Okay. Sunday says, is it advisable to travel with advanced parole? So, knock on wood, every single client of mine that has traveled with advanced parole is back in. All I always say is just make sure you tell me before you leave. But knock on wood again. Can someone file for advanced parole with asylum? Generally, yes, as long as you're not in removal. If you're talking about asylum in immigration court, no. Asylum before USCIS office, yes, you can. But you cannot go back to the country you're seeking protection from. Hello, Miss Creasy. Hello for she's saying hello from New York. See, that's a city after my heart. And the good thing is I have New York license. So, and I'm keeping, because I think one day when my kids are much older, because my oldest is heading to college, but I still have a 12-year-old, so they're still, I think when they're out and they're on their own, I may end up in New York. I think we'll see. I don't know what God has in stock, but I think so. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, I'm not really sure I understand your question, Carol. I do valid this ask for more evidence, but I don't have anything more. What can I do? You need to sit down with a lawyer. Is what the first thing you need to do. Hello, Miss Pam. She's here. Miss Pam, I was thinking about something. So if you don't hear from me by tomorrow morning, please text me that what I know what it is I want to talk to you about. It just occurred to me, but so I need to send you the text later on. Checkball. So if you don't hear from me, just send me a reminder. PC said, legit African mom, true and true. Like like 94K. It will have to get although but just 6 points in me. Who has 2 heads in your grade? Nobody. Then what are we talking about? That's it. Elvis says 40 is the new 20. I'm telling you, like a lot of people that are like my age a lot of people would not leave their hair gray. Because the thing is, if I was to color my hair, I probably would shave up 10 years because black hair makes you look younger. But who cares? Listen, that's me in all its natural glory. It is what it is. You don't like it, keep it moving. But I used to color my hair, and I just turned 40. I was like, I ain't doing this no more. I just like even I used to wear wigs. Like I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it. I just don't. I want to be as simple as possible. That's it. You go, Miss Chrissy. I'm telling you, 46 and she's looking 16, and she really is. It is what it is. You've got to be comfortable, and it's not, a lot women are the biggest critics of other women. We are very hard on one another, and I made a conscious decision to surround myself with people who are positive. I have zero tolerance for negativity. I just don't. I will cut you off. It just doesn't work well with me. The energy has to be right. I'd rather be by myself and in my home in peace than be around people who are going to be judgmental. I just cannot. I don't have and if nothing, COVID taught us that life is just done. If nothing teaches you that life is done too short. People were dropping dead like flies. I mean, you start to think of like, what? Royal 496 receive prima facie, cannot request prosecutorial discretion. I don't know anything about your case, but if you're in removal proceedings, which is what I'm guessing, that can help you to present that to them. Hoping to meet you. I think I'm heading to New York the beginning of, it was supposed to be next month, but it's going to be beginning of next year. So I'll let you know, Miss Chrissy. Precious says, is it compulsory to file initial application and file with self-declaration? If your goal is to get it out as soon as possible, you can send it once you get your receipt notice, then send in your supplemental evidence. But I usually try to send everything at once. Jennifer says, can I-45 be denied even if your VA is approved? It can, because 485 has to do with being eligible for admission as a legal permanent resident. So an approved VA petition is a petition by itself. Just the same way I explained a couple of weeks ago that an I-140 petition for alien petition for immigrant worker, immigrant petition for alien worker, the fact that it's an I-140 approved does not mean that that makes you eligible for a green card, because green card application has to do with admissibility. If you have any inadmissibility issues that prevents you from being admitted as a legal permanent resident, then it's possible that it can be denied. You may need a waiver, whatever the case may be, but it is what it is. Okay. You have a pretty face and golden heart. Thank you, Royal. Don't be fooled, but thank you. All right, Miss Spam, yes. Okay, people. All right, that's it. That's all she wrote. Still have work to finish up tonight. Got some deadlines to meet for some people tomorrow. So once again, if there's anything, if there's any case that we can help you with when it comes to immigration, citizenship, fiancé visa, VA petition, H-1B, employment-based green card, regular marriage-based green card, as fiancé, I said fiancé. What's it called? Removal of conditions, asylum. Our number is 334-341-4475. Visit our website at olalayelawfirm.com. And, we all pray for a good outcome. Sometimes it just doesn't work out the way we wish. We can't question God. Although, like, sometimes I do, like, oh, Lord Jesus. But then I remind myself that there's a reason why he's approved some cases that I did not think were approvable, or like, really. And there's a reason. Our journeys are different. And I've learned, if I've learned anything in life, is never to compare my journey to the next person. We didn't start at the same time. We ain't going to the same destination, and we ain't going to take the same path, and we're not going to finish at the same time. So as long as we remember that and know that regardless, God remains in control. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. It may not make sense. We may not see it, but there's always light at the end of the tunnel. I'm convinced beyond anything within my spirit that God, who has, Bible says he who has begun a good work, he is able to complete it. He does not start anything that he will not finish. It may not be at our time, but he will finish it. And so things may not, go without how we want them to go at the time we want them to go, the way we want them to go. But you cannot stop hoping. You cannot stop being hopeful. You cannot stop believing, because if you stop believing, what is the option? The option is defeat, and you've come too far to accept defeat. And I hope that each and every day we get up remembering that a mother may forget a suckling child, but God can never forsake us. And on that note, I hope you all have a good night.